Welcome back. Here's part 2, how to assemble a 3-liter slim. This one will be a little different. Some of the steps are the same, some are not. But just keep with it. Like I said, it's not terribly difficult. Take your time, enjoy the build. In this case, we have our new platform, our XH110G, and we'll do a complete build, including a video card, just for your reference. So let's jump into it. So the bare bone comes like this. All you have to do is undo these 2 thumb screws. Alright guys, so this is the inside of the unit. Doesn't look too different from a lot of Shuttle products. So this is your own personal preference. You can install the memory now since you have access to it, or you can undo the heatsink. It's all personal preference. I like undoing the heatsink, that way I have more room to work with. I'm just OCD that way. So just undo the 4 spring-loaded screws. Opposite corners is always good practice. Guys, and all you have to do is just make sure they're all out. Just lift up. That's it. Done. Now you have complete access to everything. So let's go ahead and install the memory. Biggest mistake people make is they buy the wrong kind of memory. XH110G uses DDR4 memory. If you're unsure what kind of memory your unit uses, you may not be building a 110G, refer to our specs page. We have some, us.shuttle.com. Look up your unit, your model number. It will indicate what kind of memory you need and its max capacity. So in this case, we have some DDR4 SODIMM. And that's all there is to it. Memory installed. Next, CPU. Forgive me, it's a little dirty. We use this all the time. So ideally you would have a pristine CPU, no thermal paste around, but just for installation purposes. So you always want to hold this by the sides. You want to avoid touching the gold contacts. So avoid touching that. Avoid touching the top surface of the processor. So avoid touching that and the underneath. To install it, it's not that hard, although you have to be very careful. So step number 1. Forgot to mention, there's usually a thin film with our bare bones, so you may want to remove that film. Kind of blocks it, so come on guys. Anyway, arm. You push this little retention arm to the side and it's going to come up. If you press down on the arm, the plate reveals the LGA landing. So LGA, so a bunch of pins here, 1151 to match the 1151 gold contacts here. To install it, the processor itself will have 2 notches that line up with 2 notches on the motherboard. If that's too difficult for whatever reason, there's a gold contact here. A gold triangle. Gold triangle here, there's a triangle on the motherboard legend here. So you have to make sure those line up properly. This is a 0 insertion force installation, so you're not jamming this down, you're not forcing it down, you're just going to lay it on top of the pins very gently. So just take your time, it's not a race, just land it down. Make sure it's in there, just give it a quick wiggle. If it doesn't come off, it should be okay. Next step, you're going to bring the plate down. You see how it has these little they look like almost like a forklift when it goes underneath the pallets. So all you have to do is make sure that that little clearance goes into the screw, like so. Now here's the scary part. This is the part that scares a lot of people. There's a lot of tension on this arm. They feel like they're going to break something or something's not right. It's completely normal. So you're just going to force the arm down, slide the arm into its retention slot, and that's it. CPU has been installed. You're pretty much on the way. Next step, thermal paste. Again, thermal paste comes in your accessory box. If you're a seasoned or a veteran builder, you may have your own. It's a lot of school of thought, a lot of different ways to apply it. I personally just use the grain of rice method, which means a small little dab in the middle, and I let the heat sink and the heat do the work. So little dab here, line up the 4 screws on your heat sink to the 4 screws on the motherboard. You're basically just reversing the process of deinstallation. So just go ahead and line that accordingly. Guess I'd take your time. Okay, all you have to do is screw down on opposite corners. I'm not pushing down on the heatsink, I'm just keeping it stable. That way it doesn't come off its doesn't come off the 4 designated holes here. These are spring-loaded, so keep that in mind. If you're using a manual screwdriver, you may need to torque down a little bit. No big deal. If you're using an electrical screwdriver or a low-voltage drill, be very careful, because if the heat sink does not line up with the holes, you can scrape the motherboard and cause damage. So when in doubt, use a manual screwdriver. Okay, I'm just going to tighten in the rest of the screws here. Alright guys, and you pretty much RAM done, CPU done, heatsink and thermal paste application done. Now, typically, this is a completed system technically, but some of you want to add a video card. Like I said, veteran builders know how to do this, newbies not so much. That's why we're here. So, to do that, usually the bare bone comes with this retention bracket here that covers the slot. It's already been eliminated. This has already been in use. So just take that little bracket off. There's one screw holding the PCI bracket here, the card bracket I should say. Just undo it. Bracket comes right out, and you're ready to install. Same principle as the RAM. There's a notch here. There's a notch on the slot here. Sorry if you see my head a lot, but it's really hard to see from this angle. It's right here. So all you have to do is simply line up the notches and press down. Again, take your time. It's not a race. So once you feel like it's almost there, you're just going to press down on it. If you don't feel it's going in, make sure that it is aligned properly. So make sure that nothing's catching, that everything's okay. Just like that. So that took a little work, but that's because I'm kind of at a bad angle. Some people like to stand the unit up, gives them better leverage, gives them better sight. But that's all there is to it. Installation almost done. Next step, you put the bracket back on. It only goes in one way. Kind of has like indentation in there to show you what it looks like. Again, I'm caught at a bad angle here. Let me see. Let me tilt the unit towards me. There we go. So that bracket just goes in one way. Screw it back down, and your graphics card is secure. Again, this is the same process for most video card or PCI Express full-length slot applications. There you go. So your video card in this case is secure. Fortunately, I don't have an M.2 drive. I would have installed that previously, but I'll show you how to install the hard drive since we do have one. So let's just wrap up the installation here. Slide the cover back on. You could put the thumb screws in now. I'll do it later. I'm going to flip the unit over. Flip it towards me. And here's the door. So, to begin your 2.5-inch drive installation, get your drive, and you see this bracket right here? This bracket comes in the accessory box. So, accessory box, pop it open, this bracket should be included, and essentially all you have to do is line up your 2.5-inch drive with the bracket. There's 4 corresponding holes, 1, 2, 3, 4, and there's an arrow that points towards the connectors. So arrow, connectors, arrow, connectors. Not that difficult. I've only installed 2 screws. This is a solid state drive. There's no moving parts, no spinning platters, so You can get away with it. If you're doing a mechanical drive, I highly recommend you do all four. You want this to be as secure as possible, especially if it's a mechanical drive. But just to speed things up, I've already installed it on the bracket, and there's 3 corresponding holes here that will line up with 3 corresponding holes here. So, to gain access to the door, there's 1 screw here. All you have to do is undo it. Unit may be out of frame for a bit. Let me see. Can I get it off? Can I get it open from here? No, I need to just plop it open. So bear with me for 1 sec, guys. And it comes right off. Alright, guys. Here's the inside of the 2.5-inch installation here. Looks pretty plain. Here's your SATA cable, which will connect your hard drive to the unit. Here's a USB header, just in case you want to hide a USB device in here, like a 3G modem or an infrared, something like that. Anyway, like I said, remember the 3 holes I was talking about? They line up with the 3 holes here. So, first thing you do is connect the drive to the unit. It only goes in one way, just like that. Again, you don't have to force it in, it only goes in one way. Make sure you have it oriented correctly. Make sure to tuck this cable away so you can get proper clearance and line it up with the 3 holes here. Now, all you need to do is retrieve the screws that come in the accessory box to screw down the bracket to the unit. There are these very thin, long, black screws. And just all you have to do is, you may have to use your other hand to guide it and just start the screws. I like just to start them just to make sure they're in place. Don't screw them down all the way. And the 3rd screw. Again, you don't need to over torque these. They just need to be snug. You're not sealing them against water or anything like that. They just need to be snug. Especially if you're doing solid state storage, there's no moving parts. So these don't need to be overly tight. That's it. Just put the door back. Again, just have to be careful, make sure that you line up everything correctly. Slide the door back in and finish by screwing down the door. Congratulations, guys, you have succeeded in fully installing a 110G. And congratulations, guys, you have assembled an XH110G from start to finish. I already did the thumb screws in the back. Pretty self-explanatory. If something's unclear or you're unsure or for whatever reason the camera didn't capture it correctly, refer to a quick guide. There's a step-by-step guide there. Again, this is more for people who are visual learners, need to see it in action. We provide these videos. So, you guys know the drill. This isn't your cup of tea. You know, we have a slim build that should be out already. Who knows? Video editor. Who knows? So it should be a slim build, should be a 1.3 liter build out. This is 3 liter. There will be a cube build in the future where I will show how to build up a cube from scratch. Not the PCB and stuff, assemble it from scratch. And you know the drill. If you like it, thumbs up. If you don't like it, thumbs down. Comments, concerns, complaints, let them be known in the comment section. You know, if you're not a YouTube person, if you don't like commenting on YouTube, services@us.shuttle.com. We read your suggestions. That's the reason we're doing this video series. I said our complete lineup, us.shuttle.com. You can see our plethora of units, embedded solutions, Android players, cubes, you name it. Visit our Facebook page. See a lot of content there. Facebook page. We have an Instagram @Shuttle Labs. Sorry guys, you OCD guys, I know continuity, Shuttle Labs doesn't go with us.shuttle or Shuttle Computer Group. Sorry guys. You work with what you got. Anyway guys, that's it. You fully assembled it. You hooked this up to power. and you cross your fingers it posts. If it doesn't post, that'll be another video series on how to diagnose and troubleshoot. We'll get around to it. So, hook this bad boy up to power and should be ready to roll. I'm Roger from Shuttle. I'll see you guys next time. Bye for now.